I kindly call upon Reverend Sue Danver, Vice Continental Director of Heavenly Africa, to offer the opening prayer. Let us unite our hearts as one.
Thank you. Please join me in the word of prayer. Our dearest Heavenly Parent, through parent of heaven, earth, and humankind, we come before you today with our hearts full of gratitude as we begin this eighth part of this ministry, practical ministry education. Thank you for the gathering. Thank you for the lecturer that you have designed for us today. This is indeed an opportunity for us to learn, to equip ourselves, and to really become those instruments that you need to realize your will. May every lesson, every practice learned here become a chance for us to really grow in wisdom, in humility, and in true love. Heavenly Parents, please help us become people who can be trusted in your work. Let what we are going to learn here bear fruits in our families, our communities, our nations, that we have the responsibility to guide as parents, as counselors. Give your love. Heavenly Parents, today our community is facing tremendous situations. May all those gathered here receive with gratitude the orientations that are going to be given, and may all these empower us and let us be more strong in whatever field we are, so that as one family we can bring joy in your hearts. Dear Heavenly Parents, Pastoral Heaven, Earth, and Humankind, we thank you. We thank you for this opportunity once again. And we pray that as a family, we really can continue to benefit this session of ministry education. I pray that all those who are not yet connected, whatsoever be the situation, can get solution and join us, so that all together we can really benefit what our brother, who have been designated as the lecturer of the day, is going to give us. Thank you once again. With gratitude and humility, I pray all this in my name, Sue Dangwere, the Blessed Central Family, attending Holy Mother Han. Aju.
Aju, Aju. Thank you very much, Reverend Sue Danvere, for the beautiful, deeply moving prayer. Your words have truly centered our spirits and prepared our heart to receive the spiritual grace waiting for us today. All right, we go to the another session, which is the word of greeting by our Director General. We are deeply honored to invite Reverend Ken Du, Director General of the World Mission Headquarters, to share his words of greeting and warmly center our hearts for today's session. Leaders and pastors, please join me in welcoming Reverend Ken Du with a warm, resounding rounds of family applause.
Hello, leaders. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me? It's okay? Okay, good. Wow, how are you doing? I can hear that. I can see that about 200 leaders getting here tonight. Wow, what morning. Hello, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining us. Yes, with the entrance ceremony of Cheonbo in 2025 and the welcoming of Heavenly Parent onto this earth, we began the new year filled with great hope. Yet, it seems that heaven is testing our hearts regarding His immense blessing. It is as if heaven is asking us, are we truly worthy to attending Heavenly Parent in Cheonbo? This solemn question has come upon us with a weight that is difficult to bear. Dear leaders, please be aware of these trials that come to those who are prepared, become stepping stone to hope. However, for those who are unprepared, even small challenges can become obstacles. Therefore, I would like to ask all of you, how deeply have the threat of dissolution facing the Japanese church and the series of incidents that have occurred within the Korean church affected you? Were we prepared enough to observe such a tremendous shock, or did we face it defensively as a crisis, threatening our very survival? There's a Korean proverb that says, repair the barn after losing the cow. And in the West, there's a similar saying, lock the barn door after the horse is stolen. Acting only after suffering or loss may seem foolish. However, if we challenge our perspective slightly, even after losing one cow, we must not give up. By strengthening and repairing the barn, we can protect the many cows that remain and prepare for better future. This is precisely what I continually emphasized during my world tour. Now is the time for us to break free from compliancy. We must discern the direction of the age and achieve a fundamental transformation in our way of thinking. At the heart of this transformation lies the essence of ministry. Until now, we may have engaged in witnessing because we were driven by church growth goals or by objectives such as rising Cheonbo couples as established by the former mission headquarters. In that sense, witnessing may have felt like an obligation or a task unrelated to ourselves. But what if witnessing becomes something for our own spiritual lives, our families, and our faith communities? What if, through witnessing, our own spirituality is revived first, our families grow, and the faith communities to which we belong become vibrant and harmonious? Or if our children come to understand the life of their parent and develop a trust in the teaching of a true parent? then our proud traditional faith will naturally be passed on to future generations. Marital relationship will be restored. Family relationship will become harmonious, and the faith community of true love, envisioned by true parents, will finally be realized in our local churches. This would be a paradigm shift from witnessing out of obligation to witnessing that save ourselves and revitalize our communities. As we walk the providential path together with True Mother, now is the time to break free from old habits and embrace a bold transformation in our thinking. For this reason, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the pastors who have participated in the practical ministry education series hosted by World Mission Headquarters. You are the true protagonists of this critical time, refusing to yield to present circumstances and pioneering the future of the church. I would also like to extend special thanks to Reverend Song In-young for joining us, serving as an outstanding model of ministry and providing the guidance and direction toward which we should strive. Dear pastors, we have now passed the halfway point of 2026. This is solemn golden opportunity, a time to look back with clear eyes on the path we have walked over the past 6 months, to bear abundant fruit of spirit and truth during the remaining 6 months, and to proactively prepare for the great turning point that awaits us in 2027. There's only one place upon which we must fix our gaze. Our true mother, despite being confined within the cold walls of detention, true mother looks solely toward the fulfillment of Heavenly Parents' providence and continues to work tirelessly amid both physical and spiritual suffering for the future of all of us and of the blessed family community. Now is the time for us to answer that call. We can no longer afford to wave in weaknesses or remain in compliancy. Through this practical ministry education, let us completely repair our spiritual bonds. Let us transform ministry from a ministry of obligation into a ministry of life. Then, throughout the remainder of 2026, let us continually offer report of victory from the mission field. Let us comfort the sorrow in True Mother's heart and bring her joy and hope as filial sons and daughters. I pray that the abundant blessing of Heavenly Parent will always be with you and your communities. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so sincerely, Reverend Yu, for your heartfelt words of greeting. Your encouragement has beautifully prepared our spirit to dive into the profound guidance awaiting us in today's lecture. Please give him a big round of applause once again, dear leaders. Really, thank you for your beautiful words. All right. Next it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. In Young Song. Dr. Song serves as the Deputy District Director of the Incheon Gyeonggi West region, while currently serving as the Senior Pastor of the Ansan Church. As many of you remember, Dr. Song gave a profound lecture on pastoral counseling and Hyojong pastoral visit during our previous education series. He focused heavily on the core pastoral attitudes of parents' heart, servant's body, providing us with a clear framework for spiritual healing and growth. He introduced a highly practical, solution focused questioning teachings such as miracle questions and scaling questions to help us better understand the real life situation of our members. Today, he will build upon that foundation, guiding us further in the theory and practice of pastoral counseling and Hyojong visitation. All right, before I hand the floor over to our professor, I have three quick technical notes for you. Please uh, look at this. Listen carefully. Dr. Song is going to speak in Korean, so you may need translation. So please go to bottom and choose the language you prefer. And you can see the global icon for interpretation, and you can choose the language to listen properly in a language you wish. And also, as you listen, if there is a question coming to your mind related to the counseling challenge you face, please type it into the chat box. We will gather them and address them during our question and answer session. Also, the presentation Dr. Song is going to share is already translated. And right now, if you look at on the top of your Zoom screen, you will see our dear translators and system staff are sharing with you. So now, please choose everyone, all the pastors, all the leaders who are here. Please use the select the preferred languages so that we can go on and ask our precious lecturer to give us his word. Are you ready? Everyone ready? Okay. Dear leaders and pastors, please join me in giving a warm, resounding welcome to Dr. In Young Song. Dr. Song, the floor is yours.
네, 네, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
Yes, hello everyone. Can you hear me well?
저는 현재 신앙국 가정연합
I am currently
교회장입니다.
the Ansan Grand Church pastor in the Incheon Gyeonggi West region.
그리고 모두에게 하늘 부모님의 축복이 함께
Yes, I would like Heavenly Parents' love and blessing to reside with everyone, all leaders, pastors here.
하늘 부모님의 심정을
As we study the theory and practice of ministry counseling with Cheon Il Guk leaders participating in this webinar, I hope to help you approach residents with the heart of Heavenly Parents as pastors and support them in living their lives as citizens of Cheon Il Guk. This session will consist of 45-minute lecture followed by case sharing in breakout rooms. Then we will reconvene for 12-minute Q&A session. Now, based on true parent spirit of living for the sake of others, I will begin the lecture on the theory and practice of ministry counseling. Yes, I will first show the table of contents. I will go in this order, which is true owners of Cheon Il Guk resembling the creator, the essence and meaning of ministry, definition and characteristics of pastoral counseling, characteristics and goals of a family federation pastor, classification of pastoral counseling, the pastor's attitude in counseling, counseling techniques and approach, and conclusion. Before we start, I would like to read True Parents' Word. The first is True Mother's Word. It's the New Year motto for 2014, which says, "Let us become true owners of Cheon Il Guk who practice true love and resemblance to our Creator, the Heavenly Parent." And the second one is the New Year's motto for 2025, which is, "In the 13th year of Cheon Il Guk, when we attend the Creator Heavenly Parent substantially, let us, the blessed families around the world, become true sons and daughters of Cheon Il Guk who fulfill our responsibility as the chosen people in unity with true parents." Yes, there's a desire for us true parents' desire for us all to become practitioners of true love who resemble the Creator, Heavenly Parent. Furthermore, they desire us to clarify our identity as the chosen people and blessed families united with true parents, fulfill our responsibilities and missions, play an active role in the firm settlement of Cheon Il Guk, and become true owners of Cheon Il Guk who resemble the Creator, Heavenly Parent. By accomplishing the will and helping to achieve this is precisely the role of a pastor. Then, what is the essence and meaning of ministry? According to the words on page 95 of The Way of a Pastor, a thematic compilation of True Father's words, the essence of ministry is to fulfill God's purpose. The mind must command to fulfill God's purpose, and the body must act according to that command. And therefore, the motivation behind every responsibility of a pastor must be rooted in God. And additionally, on page 300 and 238, it says, because humanity fell, the church is necessary, and to restore one's character, the church is necessary. And on page 308, it says that he teaches that since everyone is one family under Heavenly Parent, we must love them from the closest position through the bond of love and love them from a position higher than anyone else in the world. And so centering on the church, which is the body of Heavenly Parent and True Parent, a pastor must place the motivation for all responsibilities in Heavenly Parent. And on behalf of True Parents, the pastor's essential duty is to love the church members deeply and help them restore their character to the state before the fall. So then, what is church ministry? What is ministry counseling? When we explore the definition and characteristics of ministry counseling, it says ministry counseling means counseling from a pastoral perspective. In this approach, the pastor serves as the counselor to provide the member with an opportunity to resolve their problems, help them lead a mature life, and ultimately aim for the salvation of their soul. So in particular, the fundamental spirit of a family federation ministry counseling must be grounded in the spirit of true parents, specifically the words of living for the sake of others, and take on the body of a servant with the heart of a parent. So it is about restoring the relationship with Heavenly Parent as his heavenly child and supporting their lives as citizens of Cheon Il Guk and as chosen blessed families. So then let's look into general counseling and ministry or pastoral counseling. First, when we look at the similarities, fundamentally both seek to help the members function as a healthy human being within that community, as they also explore, research, and resolve the members' problems. And furthermore, they professionally work to prevent future problems while respecting the members' autonomy and choices throughout the counseling process. So then, what is the difference between general counseling and pastoral counseling? Well, the difference differences in terms of purpose is while general counseling focuses on exploring human nature, research, problem solving, and prevention, pastoral counseling goes beyond that. Its ultimate purpose lies in the salvation of the soul, transforming the client or the member into a person who possesses a heavenly heart, which is Cheonshim. And in addition, pastoral counseling places great importance on restoring the relationship with Heavenly Parent during the process of becoming a healthy individual, and it supports one's lifestyle as a citizen of Cheon Il Guk. Therefore, compared to general counseling, pastoral counseling focuses on the restoration of spiritual capacity, helping members align themselves with the word of Heavenly Parent.
우리가 일반 목회자들이 있고 또 우리 가정연합의 목회자의 그런 모습이 있을 것입니다. 그런 그
And so
타 종교의 성직자들과
there will be a distinct difference between the pedigree of established churches or other religions and with a family federation pastor.
실제 말씀 천주 대회에서
So then let's dive into what the characteristics of a family federation pastor is. Although this is my personal view, I have summarized them into three main points. At the Cosmic Assembly for the firm settlement on the substantial word of the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, True Parents has stated that I pray that all of you will become representatives and inheritors of true parents, and that you will surely be victorious. So then, looking at this word, first, we can see that the Family Federation pastor plays the role of a representative of Heavenly Parent and True Parents. And this includes serving as a representative who ministers on behalf of Heavenly Parent, an ambassador tasked with conveying Heaven's will, and a spokesperson who delivers Heaven's words, heart, and will. And secondly, we can see that the pastor acts as an inheritor. This role involves inheriting the legacy, traditions, and values of Cheon Il Guk from Heavenly Parent and True Parents and passing them down to the future generations. And lastly is the third part. The pastor acts as a bestower of blessings. This is the major difference between a pastor and a head of an organization or general public official or other religions in this role. The pastor holds the authority to bestow blessings as a mediator who officiates blessings, offers intercessory prayers, invokes blessings on behalf of heaven, and conveys heaven's grace and will. And so, as detailed above, and a family federation pastor possesses three major characteristics: serving as a representative and an inheritor of Heavenly Parent and True Parents, and acting as a bestower of blessing invested with the authority to offer benedictions. Therefore, the pastor's goal in guiding the church members is to raise them to become the true children who resemble the Creator, Heavenly Parent, true parents who practice true love by living for the sake of others, and true owners who fulfill their responsibilities as the chosen people. Ultimately, the goal is to cultivate them into true teachers who instruct others on the heavenly heart, Cheonshim, in this era of the firm settlement of Cheon Il Guk. So now we can make classification of pastoral counseling. Pastoral counseling is classified into various forms depending on the target audience and purpose. Each classification uses a specialized approach tailored to the member or the client's age, situation, and the nature of the problem. Pastor simply needs to understand these classifications and select the counseling method best suited for that member. So first is the structural perspective from a structural perspective, is of a pastoral counseling can be classified into child counseling. And so this involves guiding emotionally distressed children. It aims to identify common age-related issues and early signs of juvenile delinquency while supporting the restoration of relationship with parents and helping the child experience God's love. And there's also the student counseling, which refers to counseling targets that have issues of adolescence issues. And also, I will skip a little bit about this part and we'll go to the adult counseling. This adult counseling targets married men and women, and its scope is incredibly broad. It encompasses practical issues regarding marriage, first marriage, remarriage, matters of faith, financial issues, retirement planning, welfare, career, and so on. And then next, there is also the family counseling, which addresses issues that arise within the family relationships. Next is the methodological classification, which is individual, group, and combined counseling. And so first, if you look at the individual counseling, this refers to counseling clients individually on one-on-one basis, even if there are two or more clients in total. And second, this refers to counseling conducted by a team of two or more people. Family counseling also falls under this group counseling. And lastly is the combined counseling. This method runs individual and group counseling parallel to each other or combines them by utilizing both deep personal exploration and group interaction simultaneously. It also allows clients to resolve personal issues while developing their social relationship skills. Next, now we have a classification of pastoral counseling by its function. So according to its functionality, to its purpose. And so first we have healing counseling, which aims to help individuals overcome impairments by restoring them to wholeness and guiding them to a state that is better than before. Second is a sustaining counseling, which supports a hurting person to endure and overcome circumstances where recovery to a previous state or healing from an illness seems almost impossible. And third is guiding counseling. This provides direction to individuals who are confused, guiding them through advice, listening, and warning so that they can make confident choices in their thoughts and actions. Fourth is reconciling counseling. This seeks to readjust and restore broken relationships between individuals as well as between humans and God. It addresses the confession of sin and forgiveness, supporting reconciliation with God through existential counseling. And lastly, there is the educating counseling. Here, the counselor provides the necessary knowledge and information to the client. It involves teaching religious values, principles, and rules, as well as practical guidelines and lifestyles for living in Cheon Il Guk. Most pastoral counseling contains many educational elements like this. And I believe that maybe because most of you are pastors, a lot of you would use the educating counseling. But I would also like to suggest that there are many different methods that you can use based on the purpose and functions. And so we have just skimmed through each of these. And we're going to now move to the next part, which is the pastor's counseling attitude. And this part is focusing on the internal part. And so Yes, before employing any counseling techniques or theories, a pastor must develop the right attitude and posture towards the members. And so, first, regarding the internal attitude, pastors must approach those who are suffering with the heart of true parent. And so, with the heart of true parents, they have to look at the members and they have to understand the members. And so, it is not from my point of view, but instead, looking through heavenly parents and true parents' point of view. And from their perspective, we have to approach. And so, therefore, the pastor, yes, and therefore the pastoral mindset when approaching a client or a member significantly impacts both the client or the member and the outcome of the counseling. And therefore the pastor must respect the member, accept them exactly as they are, and maintain an attitude of patience and trust until the end. Then that would make a good counseling session. Second is the pastor must show empathy and respect towards the members. There's a person named Carl Rogers who developed person-centered counseling, and he stated that the necessary and sufficient conditions for counselings are first, genuineness and harmony, unconditional positive regard, and accurate empathetic understanding. And so a posture of empathy and respect is required to sensitively and deeply understand the member's internal experiences, emotions, and heart. Third is the pastor must conduct counseling with a holistic interest in total recovery. And this is looking beyond mere healing of mental illness, or is looking beyond of mere healing. And so while a medical doctor focuses primarily on curing a person's illness, a pastoral counselor maintains a secondary interest, which is helping that individual live the life promised by God, even after being cured. And so pastors must provide comprehensive and holistic care, focusing not only on the physical health, but also on the spiritual restoration, understanding symptoms within the interactions rather than just as isolated personal issues, and supporting their role and recovery within the family and community. Next, we're going to look at the counseling attitude, the external part of it. So the external attitude in counseling begins with focusing all attention on the client and listening carefully. The dictionary defines attentive listening as inclining the body to listen well. And so listening goes beyond mere hearing. It is an attitude of feeling and understanding what the other person is saying, as well as the unspoken thoughts in their heart. In counseling, listening skills can often be more important than speaking skills. If a counselor does not fully face the other person, psychologically and physically, the counseling session may face difficulties right from the start. Therefore, let me briefly share a few guidelines on listening and focusing posture. And so the guidelines for active listening in counseling are like this. And also, I have provided a little bit of an activity later on. So maybe you can practice these parts that I'm going to tell you, these guidelines. You can practice with each other, and so it's very important. So first, you have to face the other person directly. Yes, and so you have to be sure that this conveys your willingness to converse, adjust the situation so that it is not too intimidating, and also align your shoulders in height and direction with that member. You have to face them squarely. This shows that they have all of your attention. And second, you have to maintain an open posture. Do not sit with your arms crossed or with a crossed arms or legs. Sit with a relaxed face and body, and show through your posture that you are keeping an open mind, that you are open to listen to them. And third, lean toward the other person occasionally. Convey through your posture that you are listening intently, and use your body to express that you are fully drawn into their story. Fourth part is maintain an eye contact. Excessive staring may startle the member. That might be too intimidating, but use eye contact as a sign that you are genuinely interested in the other person. And so ultimately, to establish a rapport for counseling, it is very important to maintain a relaxed, comfortable posture and project confidence as a professional. Additionally, in active listening, which involves listening carefully to the clients, active listening involves listening carefully to the client's nonverbal and verbal expressions to grasp the underlying message they want to convey. And this is very crucial. There are many nonverbal expressions, such as physical behavior, like how their body moves or their gestures, their facial expressions. They may be smiling sometimes. They may be frowning sometimes. They may raise their eyebrows or lips are twitching. And also their voice could also change. Their voice speed might get faster or slower. Their intonation, spacing between the words that they emphasize, degree of fluency, stuttering, and etc. And there's also psychological changes, such as blushing or turning pale, becoming restless. And there's also physical characteristics, such as their height, their weight, their complexion, their build. And from all of this as well, you can see their overall appearance, what kind of clothing style, their fashion, what they're wearing. And so whenever you converse with the members, you have to observe their nonverbal expressions and try to understand what message they contain. Then I believe that this will make a very fruitful counseling session. So that now, if we had talked about the basics of counseling, let's go on to conversation. There's 5 stages of conversation. And so counseling ultimately takes through communication and conversation. Language is one of the greatest inventions created for conversation and communication. And language has 2 sides. It has 2 parts, which is it can act like a poison that breeds conflict, hurt, and hatred. Or it can act like a medicine that creates harmony, unity, and communication. And so there are 5 stages of conversation. And so the first stage is cliche level. So this is like an exchange of symbols carrying standard meanings. And it includes both verbal and nonverbal elements and is commonly used in daily life. Examples such as shaking hands, casual everyday expressions such as hello, how are you, have you eaten, where are you going, did you sleep well, or like let's grab dinner together next time when we meet.
두 사람의 삶과는 때로는 상관이 없습니다.
And so these kind of uh,
감정에 대한 정보를 교환하는 단계입니다.
And so this kind of exchange is an exchange of routine and formulatic greetings and gestures. It's also a cliche. And we can see that there are, even in parent and child relationship, we can see
사실적인 거 갔다 왔니? 학교 왔니? 이런 단계에 대한 이야기입니다.
yes, and then the next stage, which is sharing factual information, is in this stage, parties exchange information about facts or events that do not directly affect their own lives, including personal reactions or personal involvement. Conversations between couples or parents and children can easily remain at this gossip level conversation
나를 언급하면서 내
or factual information.
판단하고
And so
견해와
which lacks in growth and intimacy. And so these conversations are simply just sharing facts, such as, are you studying, or let's go, or it's raining. And so it's very fact level, and it can't really grow intimately. And third stage is the
감정을 표현하는
sharing options and judgments, which is the beginning of genuine conversation where individuals add their own thoughts and opinions to facts and events. It is a conversation where parties share contents related to their inner selves, mention themselves, and expose their own opinions, judgments, thoughts, views, and position. It takes forms like, in my opinion, as far as I know, or this is how I view this event.
대화를 할 수 있는 것입니다. 우리가 부정적인 감정에
Then
대한
the fourth stage is
기분이 안 좋아.
sharing emotions and intuition. And so, because expressing emotions can leave one vulnerable in getting hurt, it is not easy to express them freely. It is highly important to acknowledge and accept each other's emotions. And since emotions include both positive and negative feelings, individuals experience a sense of freedom when they can mutually acknowledge, accept, and express them.
감정까지 이렇게 표현할 수 있는 사람이면
And so examples of expressing negative emotions are like, are you in a bad mood today? I have no energy at all. I don't know why, but I feel afraid when I think about what lies ahead, and so on. And examples of expressing positive emotion is, I really love it when you're by my side. I have a good feeling about this plan. Or, of course, I could be wrong, but my gut tells me.
모든 감정과 내 모든 의견과 내 모든
And then the fifth
다 이야기할
stage is existential and spiritual level, which is the conversation of a heart. And this level is where deep understanding and intimacy are exchanged, and where love, recognition, reproof, confession, forgiveness, and acceptance take place. It is a dimension where everything in life geared toward decision making and growth is shared, and it is a stage of deep spiritual sharing where heart connects, since recognition, confrontation, confession, and forgiveness are all possible here. This is a stage of true conversation of the heart. And so the goal of pastoral counseling should be to share at least to stage 3 or above, and to make every effort to advance to stage 5, the conversation of the heart on spiritual level. And so I had prepared, provided an examples to practice the 5 stage of conversation, which flows from the conversation transition of a superficial exchange to sharing information and sharing opinions, sharing feelings, deep conversation about life and faith. And so
해보면 좋겠는데요.
it would be nice to maybe have a scenario and try out this. But
정답은 아니고요. 그냥 저 나름대로
yes, this is a scenario that I had made, which is chatting with a friend over dinner. But I had just prepared like this so that maybe we can try it out. But right now, due to time, I'll just skip over this. And then there's a lot of counseling techniques. There are counseling techniques such as psychodynamic therapy techniques, cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, person-centered therapy techniques, gestalt therapy techniques, Elderian therapy techniques, solution-focused brief therapy techniques. And so there's so many also reality therapy techniques, family therapy techniques, art expressive therapy, group counseling techniques, centering techniques, among others, and so on. There's so many. And I had on the end of the slide, I had put some resources that maybe you can look into. But out of these techniques, I would like to introduce the solution-focused brief therapy, which is also the 7 questioning techniques in solution-focused counseling. And so while there are many different counseling techniques, this 7 questioning techniques is an approach where the counselor does not try to solve the problem for the client, but instead helps the client resolve its own problem, helps it resolve on their own. And so rather than digging deeply into the causes of the client's problem, it is a client-centered model that brings about positive change by focusing on the strength and resources the client already possesses. And so the counselor's role is to help the client achieve what they desire. Yes, and so the counselor collaborates with the client to establish the goal, and specifically relying on questions based on assumptions and belief that they are beneficial to the client. And this approach views helping the client utilize their own strength and resources as the best possible method. And so because of this, asking questions is exceptionally important, and there are 7 essential questioning techniques used in this method. The first one is pre-session change questions. And so, yes, or pre-session questions about change. And so this questioning techniques helps the client explore small changes or improvements they have already experienced before starting the counseling. And so examples like, since you booked this counseling session, have you noticed any positive changes, however small, in your situation? Or asking them, before coming here today, what changes did you make in the way you handle this issue? And so the purpose of these questions is to guide the client to discover the efforts they have made on their own or any improvements that occurred while waiting for the session. Pre-session change questions serve as an important tool to reinforce the client's self-confidence that I already have the ability to change, and thereby enhancing the effectiveness of the counseling. The second technique is reward questions. This questioning technique helps the client explore the value and meaning they wish to gain through the counseling. And so questions such as, what would need to change through this counseling for you to feel, wow, I'm really glad I did this? Or when our counseling concludes, what kind of change would you feel that was meaningful? And so these questions prompt the client to imagine how the counseling can bring them a sense of reward or satisfaction beyond mere problem solving, allowing counseling goals to be set at a deeper, more personal level. The third one is exception questions, where these utilize to uncover moments in daily life when the client did not experience the problem or when the problem felt less severe. And so questions such as, when a client say, as an example, when a client say, I keep having conflicts with my child, then you can ask, was there ever a moment when conflicts with your child were less frequent? Or what kind of conversation or behavior took place at that time? And so this helps the client to discover the resources and potential they already possess. And exception exception questions are powerful techniques that find gaps in the problem and help clients discover clues to the solution on their own. And the fourth is a miracle question, which is a core technique that helps client envision their desired future, allowing them to concretize their goals and see what life looks like after the problem has resolved. Examples such as saying, suppose that tonight while you're sleeping, a miracle happens and the problem you've been worrying about completely resolved, then you can ask, when you open your eyes tomorrow morning, what will be different? Or how would the people around you notice the change in you? And through this question, the counselor asks the question, if a miracle happened and the problem vanished, how would your life be different? And this clarifies the counseling goals and lays the groundwork for establishing a practical plan for change. The fifth question technique is scale question. And this technique prompts the client to express their current state, the degree of change, or the level of goal achievement using a numerical scale. And so, for example, you can ask, if you were to express your current level of anxiety on a scale from 0 to 10, what score would you give? Or you can say, you mentioned it currently that you're at 4, what small action could you take to move to a 5? And this helps to concretely quantify abstract experiences and helps the client recognize even small changes so that they can create a process of step-by-step and change and formulate realistic plans of action. The sixth one is coping question, and this questioning technique helps the client explore how to manage to endure or cope despite facing difficult situations. And so, for example, you can say, have you managed to hold on? How have you managed to hold on until now despite such difficult situation? Or what is your secret to enduring the day even amidst these challenges? And so even if the problem has not been completely resolved, the purpose of this question is to help the client discover the resources and strength they are already using and to realize that they possess coping skills. Lastly, is the relationship question, which is a questioning technique that helps the client view their own changes through the eyes of others. And for example, if the problem were to be resolved, what change in you would your family notice first? And these kind of questions are used to help clients imagine how people around the world around them would react and what changes they would notice once the desired transformation occurs, and thereby reinforcing self-awareness and motivation. And so I had also provided a scenario-based practice questions that you can do, and perhaps maybe later on when you have time you can test this out. Lastly, I really want to say that us as counselors, us as pastors, we are really heavenly parents and true parents representatives. We are really their inheritors as well. And so I would like for us to really resemble them and care our members with the heart of heavenly parents and true parents perspective, from the perspective of them. And after your counseling, I would also like to really suggest that you finish each counseling with a prayer, a benediction for them. And these are some advanced learning resources that I had prepared for you. And yes, all humanity is now waiting for true parents. And so we must become true sons and daughters who inherit the love, life, and lineage of true parents. True parents, as pastors as well, we really have to be sons and daughters of Heavenly Parent, true parent ourselves. Our family has to be true parents and Heavenly Parents' family, and our community as well. And so us as pastors who stands in the center of Heavenly Parents' dream, we have to really become the cornerstone to communicate with our members. And we really truly have to keep on upgrading and working towards our pastoral capacity. Yes, and so thank you very much for listening to our lecture today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Song. Thank you. Dear leaders, please fill the chat box with the waves of love, emojis, and gratitude for this deeply insightful, practical, and comforting roadmap for pastoral care. I believe you learn a lot. I believe, please give him really a big, big round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Tom. As you know, the time was short and is short always, and so he might be actually escape. I mean, you felt maybe he didn't maybe say fully about that slide or this slide and so on. We shared with you the full lecture material. You can see the link below. I mean, in Zoom, you can download the PowerPoint, and also a few minutes later, we will share with you the text material, which is the full lecture prepared by the mission department, and we hope that you can use it and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a good time looking at your faces, smiling and feeling relaxed. It somehow shows that you had a good time with other brothers and sisters in your breakout room. I hope you could share and learn a lot in your this 30 minutes time. It is really, you can see that there's truly such an immense power, comfort, and joy when we listen, heal, and move together as one global family. Okay, we would like to open the question and answer session. It is very short. I'm very sorry because of the time shortage. We cannot offer more, but it's kind of 10 to 12 minutes. And we would like to ask you to ask your question. So please be very short, very clear. Go to the point you want to ask. Okay. Uh, First, let me ask one of the questions which I can see in our chat box. Our brother Klaus from Europe is asking, listening to all those wonderful content of counseling, unless one have a basic physiological education, one cannot fulfill all those requirements, especially if he or she is not a full-time pastor. But seen from the importance, which counseling quality or ability do you consider most important?
저는 기본적으로 오늘도
Yes,
말씀
for me, basically, I think the very first ability or quality that we have to have is the internal heart, the internal posture.
하늘 부모님 것이다라고
We're
시작을 했던 것처럼
just like how we are here facing our members from the standpoint of Heavenly Parent and True Parents standpoint and perspective.
상속자다라는 그런 그 마음이 있었으면 좋겠습니다.
So we have to have the heart.
식구들을 대하게 되면 어떤 기법이나 기술이라든가 이게 아니라
Yes, we have to have the heart as a representative, inheritor, and benedictor. And so, really, from the point of view of their parent, really from Heavenly Parent and True Parents' viewpoint, I think that is the very core and the essence. And also, like throughout my PowerPoint, I had mentioned many counseling techniques that you can use, but I think first and foremost, the quality that you have to have is the internal aspect. Would that answer your question?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope our brother Klaus could receive the answer you were looking for. Another question I can see in our chat box from our brother Reverend Leonidas. He's asking how to do when your how to do when your counseling is for couples, but children are there since you are visiting them at the home.
제가 이제 그 오늘 이제 그 신방에
Yes,
대한 말씀 안 하셨는데 이제 가족
I didn't really talk about the pastoral visitation part, but if there are children and if the family is there together, then it has to go to the family counseling. But I think when you also have pastoral visitations, the purpose has to be very clear. And so, if your purpose is to have a family counseling as a whole, then you have to prepare like that. And so, like I had mentioned, you have to see if you have to see that if it needs individual counseling or if it's a counseling that the kids has to come together as well. I think maybe setting a counseling plan would be good. And if the family relationship is good together, then it can be a combined counseling. But if the family members are not really good with each other, then it might be better to have individual counseling or maybe split the group and have a counsel in as a unit. And so if there is a trouble between husband and wife, then maybe you can meet them individually first and then ask them later if it's okay to meet as a is it okay to have a partner counseling, then you can bring them together for team counseling. And also if there are children there, then you also have to look at the family dynamic between the parents and the child, and your expressions should really match the level of the child as well. And if it's adolescents or students, then that's where maybe a little bit more of the techniques might come in. And so, in conclusion, if it's group counseling or if it has to be a family counseling, or when you have to go to a pastoral visitation, then first have a clear purpose, and second, maybe have a strategy or a plan to achieve that goal. Yes, and so that's how I would like to wrap up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There is another question from our brother Franz. He's asking, is there an ideal length for a conversation that allows for genuine listening and meaningful communication?
뭐 이상적인 길이는
Ideal length might be different based on the situation. Like for example, if you look at hundokhe, reading the word, then those who really like reading the word, then they can spend many hours reading the words of true parents. But for those who are having a hard time, it might not be that ideal. And so, for example, for myself, for my Cheonbo family church, I upload maybe one page length of a word for the members to read. And so just like that in conversation, like rather than there's a ideal length or standard, I think it mainly depends on the circumstance and the atmosphere of that moment and time. And the important thing is when you're having a conversation, you are being empathetic, you are understanding what they're saying. It's not just nodding the head, but really understanding them artistically. And so, yes. Yes. And so if you can reach to that point, then I think that might be the ideal length. Yes. I can't hear
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have another question is from Shanghai. He's the question is how to cancel the adult second gen who lost their faith to true parents and had hatred toward true parents.
일단은 저는 그
First of all, I would first approach them to listen to them as much as possible, and understand their heart. When we have a child and when we feed a baby, there are many different stages of food that we feed the baby, right? Just because a child was born, we don't just feed them rice or we don't just feed them solid food right away. And so just like that, you have to really go to their level and really approach them accordingly to their stage. And so no matter how adult that they might be, looking from the standard of a faith, we have to see if their faith level is really on the stage of a child or an adult or a teenager or an infant. And so we have to look at their level first and then approach them in order to, and so even if they're an adult second gen, if we really understand their heart from their level, then I believe that they can really open up and healing can start from there. But if we go through the mindset that, oh, because they are a second gen, they're an adult, so they have to understand what I'm saying and they have to understand the principle, they have to understand the church, then we can't really feed them what they need. And so, and also we have to see if the parents are also working to really get closer to the child as well. If the parents are really trying to understand what the child likes and what the child needs. And so every circumstance is very different and every standard is different. And so I can't really give you a definite roadmap or like a clear answer, but also in talking about true parents, you can see what level they're in, what faith level they're in. But I would like to first recommend before you talk about those, first try to approach them and become have a relationship with them. That is the most important part.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We have one more question, and because of shortage of time, I'm very sorry. The last question is, what should we do when a member is facing financial difficulties and rather than seeking words of advice, is looking for a material or practical solution?
저도 그건 해결해 본 적이 없는 것 같습니다.
Yes, I don't think I really had a moment where I had found a solution for them in this aspect, but
가끔 예를 들어주는 사람이 있어요.
there are some people who say examples, illustrates an example. Before there was a program called 독수리 오형제, so 5 Eagle Brothers. And so there was this meeting called 5 Eagle Brothers, and they had a principle that says first, the husband and wife has to have good relationship, and second, they have to have faith. And then these 5 husbands who gathered together had talked about their main topic was how to solve financial difficulties and how to make money, basically. And they had worked to really help each other. And really in that group, there were there were people who had created enough financial standpoint that they can offer a lot of donations to church as well. At first, their financial level wasn't that high, but they had worked together to kind of find that way and talk about it. And also, I believe that maybe and so it's not just making money for the sake of my own benefit and personal benefit, but if we help them set the mindset of making money so that heaven can bless me, so that we can help heaven's providence proceed, help heaven in the way through heaven has given us this blessing. And so that is how I kind of understand and maybe approach in that way. And maybe I would try to illustrate some examples as that. And so if you really have if you really align your faith, then these results might come out. And I would like for you to maybe test it out. I don't know if that could answer your question, but yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Song. Thank you. It was very beautiful, really rich dialogue, and your answer is perfect. Thank you. Please, dear leaders and brothers and sisters, give our precious Dr. Song a big round of
제가
applause.
한마디 좀 잠깐 해도 될까요?
예, 부탁드립니다.
한마디-
Yes, please.
네.
Go ahead.
다시 한번 요약해서
I would like to, in summary, to summarize, really, we have to understand where a pastor stands, and this is not something to be boastful. It is something that true parents has given to us, and it is a privilege. And so you're not looking at the members through your own eyes, but you're looking at the members through Heavenly Parent and true parents' standpoint and viewpoint perspective. And so that's one that I want to emphasize. And the second is you're not just a counselor, you're not just counseling them. I really want you to understand that you are a pastor and you're doing pastoral counseling. And so I want you to really offer them benediction after each counseling session. And also, yes, and also there's many counseling techniques that I have showed you, and there's so many, but I want you to really understand or take away the nonverbal languages, your body language, especially when you're doing counseling, how attentively you're listening to them, how focused you are to them. And so I think if you do that, the member will open their heart. And so I really want you to be conscious of your nonverbal languages. And lastly, or thirdly, is the conversation. Even between husband and wife, sometimes it might be just factual conversations such as, oh yeah, I ate dinner. Oh yeah, I went to church. There are many conversations that are stopped at that level. But I want you to go deeper and ask them their questions like, oh dad, I think in this way, how about you? Or like pastors ask your members like, oh, what do you think? And so then I think the conversation will work between members and pastors well. And then going beyond that, if maybe and going beyond that, I want us, our community, to become a community where having honest conversations, having positive or negative conversations can be really open. Like a member can say, Pastor, today's message was really good. Or a member can say, oh, I didn't really like your message today, and this is why. And so really, if we have these kind of open conversation, then it can really create a healthy community. Yes, and lastly, the attitude is very important. And so from a standpoint of a pastor myself as well in Heavenly Korea. I think if you really do that, then it can really help the members and make your community more vibrant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Song. Please, dear leaders, please give him a big, big round of applause. Thank you. Please. It was amazing lecture. Also, I know that you have many questions, as I can see in our chat box. Don't worry, we will collect your questions and send it to Dr. Song, and he will answer, and we will send you back. Don't worry. Okay, please ask more questions. We will be happy to have that. As you can see, we are sharing the lecture text material just now in the chat box. You can download it. It's full text, and you will learn a lot. Please use it, and we hope it can be a really joyful or anyway useful for you. All right, to wrap up our session today with a unified and centered heart, we are deeply honored and blessed to welcome Reverend Kwon Sang-on, Director of the General Affairs Department at the World Mission Headquarters, to share his closing guidance. You know him. He's a loving man. He was with us in Mission Department. I believe all the leaders know him very well. Please give him a big round of applause. Reverend Kwon, the floor is yours.
네, 안녕하십니까.
Yes,
사랑하는 전
greetings,
목회자 여러분.
beloved leaders and pastors around the world. It is a wonderful pleasure to meet you. Can you see my heart? Can you see my heart? Yes. I am Kwon Sang-on, Director of General Affairs Department at the World Mission Headquarters. Today we are gathered together for a deeply meaningful occasion that marks the both final session of the second quarter of the practical ministry education and the halfway turning point of this entire year's educational journey. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Pastor Song In-young for beautifully awakening the most passionate hearts of our ministry fields today through his lecture on the theme of counseling and pastoral visitation. Through his moving lecture, we were once again able to deeply engrave in our hearts the true essence of true parents ministry of experiencing, which values a single life more than the entire universe. Beloved pastors, it feels just like yesterday when we gathered in front of our screens with fluttering hearts to begin the first quarter of the education series on March 5th. Yet, half of the year has already passed. Within the grand journey of 16 lectures across 8 major themes, we have already completed 8 precious milestones of learning. I would like to offer a sincere round of applause filled with the utmost respect and gratitude to Director General Ken Do of the World Mission Headquarters for his invisible behind-the-scenes support that made this education possible, and the staff members of the World Mission Headquarters who dedicated themselves to the meticulous planning and practical preparations, and above all, the pastors around the world who held their positions faithfully across different time zones and environments. Respected pastors, during the first half of the year, we explored deeply into management and growth, as well as essence and care. As Reverend Song emphasized today, counseling and pastoral visits are not merely about meeting with our church members. It is an act of redemption that wipes away heaven's tears and represents the absolute essence of Shimjong ministry that revives broken families. Now, we must not confine this learning to our heads. We must connect the fiery passion of the first half of the year to practical revival and growth in our ministry fields. We now stand before the remaining 8 lectures of the second half of the year. In the upcoming half, More concrete and challenging themes await you, including witnessing and mission, spiritual training, and the guidance of future generation and blessed families. If the first half was a time for laying foundations and strengthening internal substance, the second half will be a time for expanding our horizons and designing the future to achieve the substantial victory of Cheon Il Guk's firm settlement. Beloved pastors, every single tear we shed on the pulpit and every word of comfort we offer in the counseling room becomes a wooden peg that builds the grand arc of Cheon Il Guk. I earnestly pray that many pastors will continue to participate in the second half of the education so that by the end of 2026, we can all proudly offer our victory reports before heaven as prepared pastors. I pray that heaven's infinite protection and true parents' victorious fortune will always be with your ministry field. Thank you deeply for your hard work during the first half of the year. I look forward to seeing you again in the second half education with a brighter and more energetic appearance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Kwan, for those deeply encouraging, grounding, and centering words. Please, leaders, give him a big round of applause for his beautiful, really perfect, loving conclusion. Thank you, Reverend Kwan. Okay, before we say our temporary goodbye, we have a few brief and important updates to help you continue this beautiful journey with us. First, the precious materials from today's lecture are being uploaded. We sent it, I just mentioned it before in the chat box. You can download it, and later we will send it in group chat in WhatsApp. Also, as today's lecture concludes the second quarter of our education series, we kindly ask you to fill out a comprehensive feedback form. This will cover not only today's session, but all 4 of the profound lectures we have shared throughout these past months to help us to, serve you better as we plan a future educational program. Please take a moment to scan this QR code you can see on the screen, or click the link in the chat box. We truly, really, truly read, truly discuss, and deeply cherish every single comment you submit. Also, if you have any unanswered questions from today, please include them there, and we will make sure these questions reach Dr. Song for his personal guidance. Okay? The other announcement is for the next session. Our next session will mark the launch of the third quarter of our practical ministry education program. We have an incredible line of lectures prepared to continue empowering your ministries throughout the months of September. Please make sure to write these important dates down. September 3rd, we will kick off our first session with part 1 of Witnessing and Mission, featuring Reverend Koichi Sasaki, Vice Continental Director of Central and South America. September 10, we will continue our focus with part 2 of Witnessing and Mission, guided by Reverend Anna Kalamaskaya, Vice Regional Director of Northern Region in the Europe and Middle East. September 17, we will transition into a part 1 of a spiritual training and character development led by Reverend Yu Sang-John, Director of Education Department at the HJ Heaven on Earth Cheonbo Training Center. And last will be September 23rd, which is Wednesday. We will conclude the month series with part 2 of spiritual training and character development featuring Professor Wang Myung Cho from the Sammun University. As a reminder, The first session will be on Thursday, September 3rd at 7:30 Korea time. Please mark your calendar so our global family can gather in full once again to receive this vital piece of wisdom. Finally, before we move to our Kyombe, I would like to really lovingly take a brief moment to recognize the incredible leadership working tirelessly behind the scene to make every single session possible. Please join me in giving a resounding round of applause to Reverend Masadate Kajikuri, the Director of the Mission Department at the World Mission Headquarters, who has pushed so hard and invested his whole heart in the shaping this educational curriculum for you, our dearest leaders and pastors. Please give him a big round of applause. Second, let us also express our deepest gratitude to Dr. Song Jong-seo, the Deputy Director of the Mission Department at the World Mission Headquarters, who has really working very hard in preparing the profound lecture content we receive at the conclusion of every session. This, the lecture we sent it to you today, he prepared it. Please give him a big round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Song. Also, we want to really give a final and extended our warmest, most heartfelt thanks to our incredibly dedicated interpreters and technical staff. First, I would like to honor and name our precious interpreters who have poured out their hearts to translate these deep words into our native languages. The first from Korean to English or vice versa, Sandra Kim. The second English to Spanish will be Alejandro de Souza. English French, our brother David Diop or Babasan Siga from Africa. English Portuguese, Jose Andres Romero Alves. And Chinese, Nam Hee Huang. And Thai, Manira Kobayashi. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you, really, dear loving brothers and sisters. Thank you. You can see them. Please send your heart and love, please. Also, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our brilliant technical and system staff holding the digital space together for us today and every time, every session. Kishi Kenta, Atsumi Akino, and Kim Chang-moon. Really, thank you. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, to officially and beautifully conclude our time together, let us offer our final bow of deep gratitude, filial piety, and eternal love to our heavenly parents and true parents. 차렷 전진 참 부모님께 경배. 바로 yes, we want to take your photos, so please turn on your cameras and show us your beautiful smile. Okay, are you ready? I hope you're ready. Okay, let's go. 아버지, 어머니, 사랑합니다. 감사합니다. Thank you so much, dear leaders, for your beautiful heart, your absolute dedication, and your unchanging love for the providence. May heavenly parents and true parents safely bless you, your families, and your ministry. We cannot wait to see you all again for our next session in September. Have a beautiful, loving, full day and months ahead. God bless you. Take good care.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. See you.
Palabra.
September.
Buenos días.
Looking forward.
Let's go.
Muchísimas gracias.